One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
Is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday afternoon edition of Fanfare. We finally made it through another week, and what a week it was. Not enough people are talking about the week that President Trump had in a positive fashion. But today's show is all about the positivity that President Trump has been providing us and the continued opportunity that he is providing us to enjoy the prosperity that he is basically enabling every single one of us to take advantage of. Every single one of us. Not billionaires and millionaires. Everybody. But before I go there, I got to tell you guys something. I got a package in the mail. And this package I got in the mail had been sitting in my post office box for about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, I better go over and check the mail. So I go over and check the mail, and I get something in the mail. And it says, hey, Barry, first, let me start. And they typed it. First, let me start by saying, excellent job. My wife and I have chosen your show, your Big Y, above the rest. And we forward and share your episodes with our friends and family. We live in Iowa. Thank you very much. You provide the latest breaking news minute by minute and on point. No riffraff. Very sincere, honest, and in-depth on entry level for all of us. You rock. Thank you very much. God bless President Trump. God has chosen him to restore and repair our country. He who praises God and worships the Lord Jesus shall have everlasting life. Amen. Shannon and I have an idea that we'd like to share with you. And I won't go into the rest of the email, but Shannon and Jimmy had an idea. And the idea I'm going to have to talk to them about because, Ashley and I, we do the free hoodies, and we're going to be giving away some T-shirts real soon. I know it's getting on into the summer, and we're giving away the free Bibles and stuff. And I personally don't want to do things like other YouTubers do. I don't want to sell things. I don't need to sell you guys T-shirts and hats and things of that nature, but a lot of people have been asking. Yes, we gave away the Trump, but people are like, you got any Fanfare merchandise? And I'm like, no, we're just not getting into the merchandise. Well, I think Jimmy and Shannon may have twisted my arm because I'm going to have to retire this hat, my polo hat, and put on this amazing hat that they've got and sent to me. Look at this hat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got a fanfare hat. So, and I mean, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. It's one of those great kind of hats. It's like fits all in one. So it's no, snap back or anything. And it's embroidered. So it's none of that cheap, just stamp on stuff. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love this thing. And I'm like, you know what? Perhaps we should be looking at giving these hats away. Now, I'm not going to put Jimmy and Shannon out of business. I mean, we would absorb the cost, but I like it. Tell me in the comments what you guys think about it. If you guys like this hat, we shall indeed begin giving these away. Now, I hope Shannon and Jimmy have the capacity to make them, but this should be pretty cool. Somebody, who's this? SBLS is like, awesome hat. I love it. I'm like, wow, man, this is pretty sharp. I just have to make sure I have cookie dust on my hand. Somebody emailed Robin yesterday and said, hey, man, stop wearing the dirty hats. I'm like, I don't know, they're dirty. My hands, they're always into things. But yeah, I think this is it. Ashley will be here on Monday. I'm going to talk to her and let her follow up with Jimmy and Shannon. But I was like, wow, so maybe I need to get a fanfare shirt. Things started thinking. So I'm pretty sure the way it looks is we're going to do this. We're going to start giving away the fanfare hats as well. I got to get in touch with Jimmy and Shannon. Actually, I got to, did they leave their number? Jimmy and Shannon, you sent me a package and your phone number's not on here. How am I supposed to get a hold of you? They gave me that, right? And then they gave me something else. They're like, you know how President Trump always says that big, beautiful chart that saved his life? He goes, I want to sleep with that chart. Well, they had another great idea, and they sent me this. And it's the great, big, beautiful chart pillowcase. And I'm like, that's fantastic. My favorite chart, it says. I'm going to sleep with that chart. And it's a pillowcase. And I'm like, that's phenomenal. So, Jimmy and Shannon, for some reason you didn't put your phone number on the package. I'd like to get a hold of you. And this is beautiful. And it would I don't even know if people want to put their heads on it. They may just want it. But they're going to want this, Jimmy and Shannon. So I hope you guys see this. I hope somebody knows Jimmy and Shannon. Maybe Jimmy and Shannon are in here, but I gotta have these. I gotta have these hats to give away. I'll be wearing it everywhere. I'll be walking into the bank. I'll be going to the restaurants. Robin's gonna say, can you take off that damn hat? Nope. I'm wearing my hat, all right? Okay. But I just had to say that. Thank you, Jimmy and Shannon. I'm not going to give out their last names, obviously, but they're in Iowa. And if you know Jimmy and Shannon in Iowa, if you see them in the chat, tell them, hey, go ahead and email or hit up Ashley or one of the mods and get me a phone number or an email address or something. I can get a hold of them. That's fantastic. All right, so that being said, and I was so excited. I'm like, it's Friday. It's Friday. And I wanted to take a moment and talk to you guys about that. It's incredible. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So in case you didn't see it, President Trump did a quick gaggle out front of the White House as he took off to Scotland this morning. And it was very, very interesting. And I'm glad I taped it instead of covering it live because I want to stop a couple points into what he says. And I think we should discuss that. So I'll be playing that in a second. But before we get to his interview, want to talk to you about a couple things he posted on Truth Social. I almost said X, Truth Social. So let's get to the Truth Social window and talk about it. Boom. The radical left Democrats are doing everything in their power to distract and obfuscate from our great 6 months of service to America, results of which many are saying is the best 6 months in presidential history. They have gone absolutely crazy and are playing another Russia hoax, but this time under the guise of what we shall call the Jeffrey Epstein scam. As things are revealed, pay attention to that. As things are revealed, and I hope will take place quickly, so we're going to get a reveal pretty quickly, you will see that is yet another Democrat con job. Hopefully, the grand jury files will put an end to this hoax. Everyone should see what is there, but people who are innocent should not be hurt. Make America great again. Now, you have to understand, in this movie that you're watching, everything is already pre-scripted. The villain who's going to save the damsel in distress at this point in the movie. Then there's going to be the chase. And then after the chase, they're going to catch the bad guys. It's, you're watching a movie. And President Trump, like any bad guy, sits in a movie theater with his wife or his girlfriend, is like, hey, this is the part where this happens. Like, can you shut up? Robin does that to me all the time. I'll say it to her, hey, you know what happens here? This is what's going to happen. I told you that was going to, because that's why she hates going to movies with me, especially a movie I've already seen. Because hey, look at this. He's doing that. He's already seen the movie. They've already game planned it. They've already had the screen test. And he's telling you, this is what's coming next. Undoubtedly, there's no way the President of the United States puts out a statement like this. By this time, you guys must realize it. Everything you're seeing is choreographed. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad choreographing, but nonetheless, it's still a choreograph. You are seeing what they want you to see. And so, when you see these things being written by your president, when he says, I hope things will be revealed and I hope will take place quickly. That means it's about to happen. That means you're about to see something about this Epsteiniac craziness, and he played you like a fiddle once again, including you influencers. You will see that is yet another Democrat con job. Hopefully, the grand jury files will put an end to this hoax. Oh, so he's telling you you're about to see some grand jury files. He just wrote it, just showed it to you. And it's going to put an end to the Democrat con job, which is problematic in itself because that never ends. All they can do at this point is come up with hoax after hoax after hoax. At some point, people have to sit back and go, oh, here they come again. More BS. It's never going to end. The only thing that's going to end is for normies to wake up one day and say, you're being screwed. You're being lied to, and you're being treated like a hamster on a wheel. They just feed you the stuff that keeps you on that wheel. Eventually, if you got half a brain, you're going to step off and go, I can't listen to these people anymore. So in addition to what just posted here, something else just got released. You ready for this one? You ready, Epsteiniacs? Okay. Gilly Maxwell wants a pardon. Now, the fact that Gilly Maxwell has requested a pardon should speak volumes to you. Because you don't get the pardon unless you give up the goods. You don't just, hey, can I get a pardon? No. It don't work that way. What you got? Oh, that's what you got? Well, if we can verify this, we might be able to work something out. So the fact that she has said, or has been reported, that she wants a pardon, one of two things could be happening at this point. One, it could be completely false, and they want to see who freaks out. Because if you understand the nature of the pardon, you got to give something to get something, then certain people who may be named in said pardon might freak out. So if that is a smokescreen to see who jumps, well, we'll see if it works. The second option is they're actually considering giving her a pardon to see what she's got. I.e., they already know what she has. So the fact that it hit the news this afternoon that Gilly Maxwell is requesting a pardon, this part of the movie has now shifted into another scene. And this scene, as you can imagine any bad guy movie, hey, listen, can we cut a deal? Okay, what's your deal? I can give you Jimmy the Fish. Okay, how you going to give me Jimmy the Fish? I can give you Jimmy the Fish and Jeffrey the Douche. Both of them. We're going to get both of them, okay? Yeah, what do you got? Oh, you can really give me that? Yeah, I can give you that. Okay, so if you say you can give me that, if you can show me that, then we might be able to talk about something. So show me that you can give me this. And if she has shown somebody, remember, Todd Blanche went to the jail. Let me go there, interview her. So he goes to the jail, we're told, in Tallahassee, and they speak. And from these two meetings, because he went back there again today, which normally would tell me the first meeting was, I got something for you. I walked in, I have my meeting with you. Okay, what are we talking about here? Yeah, I understand you're getting a lot of flack in the news. Yep. People want to know what you know. Well, you know what? For me to tell you, Todd, you need to tell your boy Donnie, I can give him X, Y, and Z. And if I give him X, Y, and Z, I want out of here. All right, so what's Todd got to do? He ain't picking up the phone. Excuse me. Todd's like, I'll get back to you, and we'll see what the boss says. Goes back, talks to the boss. Hey, boss, she says she's got this and that. Okay, verify if she's got this and that. And if she's got this and that, we might be able to have a deal. So he goes back to Tallahassee today. Hey, Ghislaine. And this is all supposition here. It's me writing the script. And hey, Ghislaine, the boss says if you got the goods, we can talk about this. So show me or tell me where I can find these goods. And so now we'll see. The news gets out that, there's a pardon been requested. And people right now have probably soiled their underpants if that's true. The mere fact that it's been bandied about now, hey, I want a pardon, means it's not against Trump. Means whatever she's going to say isn't against Donald Trump, because the guy you're asking a pardon would tell you to go pound sand and sit in that cell and croak. So the fact that they're talking about a pardon means something has piqued his interest. What might you have? Which would then explain why there was no pardon in the last 4 years. This can't be the first time she's asked it. I'm sure she asked Merrick Garland, hey, listen, I need a pardon. Never! You sit here and die. We're never going to let anybody get close to you. But now she wants a pardon? These people, if this is true, are about to be embarrassed. The media, embarrassed. The people who she may offer up, embarrassed. And President Trump at this point seems to know this. As things are revealed, which I hope will take place quickly. Get ready. I don't know if we have any more popcorn in the house. It's just like every day, just more popcorn we need. So, everything past as post was my supposition. It was my insert of the script. You can add your own script and see, well, where is this going? Go ahead and play playwright at this point. At home, start writing in and thinking what you would think that would happen based on what he just wrote. If you put that in Grok and say, Grok, can you write a script based upon what President Trump just put there? Grok's going to tell you, based upon Hollywood movies, somebody's got something. It's not very hard to see. and that could be very problematic for some people. Ben Dykes posted some names on the list. How would Ben Dykes know the names on the list? Except for the ones I'm going to show you that President Trump already said. See, that's something else. Maybe Ben heard what I'm about to show you. And when President Trump was at his press conference today, his gaggle conference, he dropped a couple names. Big names. I'll send you popcorn wrapped in foil. Yeah. Apparently some well-known people are reading this chat. Oh my God. I love your cap. Thank you. Hope you guys like it. Stunning. Well done. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it, but that's what it came out. Came out and said, we might have to drop she wants a pardon. Wow. Ben said he had someone in the room with Donna Brazile. Yeah, Donna Brazile. That was from before. If they had anything on Trump, they had 8 years to get him and not a word. That's the whole thing about this. Not a word. Barry, please change your shirt. I'm starting to worry about you. I have like 7 of these shirts. Please chill. You guys say that about Benny? He wears black shirt every single day. Every single day he wears a black shirt, black t-shirt. I wear this shirt every day. Not this exact one, but one of the ones in the rotation. Whew. Wow, people. You think my wife would let me stank out in the same clothes every single day? Or she has nothing and just wants a pardon. No, that's not possible. It doesn't work that way. Think about your own life. Think about your own specific life. You screw up and you go to your wife and, baby, I'm sorry. Please pardon me. Let me back into the room. Can you cook some dinner? Did you apologize? Did you do what you're supposed to do correctly? Until you don't do that stuff, put that seat down. Don't talk to me. You've got to come to me and basically beg for my pardon. Offer me something. So no, nobody asked for a pardon just to get expecting it. Barry, don't have to justify what you wear. Shirtgate has been going on for a while, and for some of you guys who aren't new or maybe new here, people look at everything. They look at what's in the background. They look how things look. They look at did I shave today? Then I get the one about you're running ads on a live stream, not realizing that's why we do this stuff. But anyway, Maxwell comes from money. Oh yeah, big money too. The store is out of popcorn. Too many are watching Barry. So again, everything after what he wrote was my supposition. I do not know if that's the case, but I did see what he typed, and then shortly thereafter, the news hit that she was requesting a pardon. Whether or not it's a bluff or not, that's what the news said. News. All right. So what else did he have to say before he took off to Scotland? He posted this, which we're going to get into some prosperity type stuff. After many years, Australia has agreed to accept American beef. For a long time, and even though we are great friends, they actually banned our beef. Now we're going to sell so much to Australia because this is undeniable and irrefutable proof that U.S. beef is the safest and best in the entire world. Well, maybe Wagyu? The other countries that refuse our beef, magnificent beef, are on notice. All of our nation's ranchers, who are some of the hardest working and most wonderful people, are smiling today, which means I'm smiling too. Let's keep the hot streak going. It's the golden age of America. See, not enough people are talking about this. Not this specific instance, but in terms of the golden age, about the prosperity that we're about to see. Not enough people are really digging into this. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're being swayed by people on other news channels or swayed by influencers talking about whether Macron's wife is a woman or a man. Why the hell are people interested in that? I have no idea. Some of the stuff I see people talking about, I'm like, does that affect your life even this much? And so why would you spend your hard-earned, deserved time listening to stuff that's not going to help you improve your life? Every decision Robin and I make about anything we do is like, okay, does this work for us? We're going to buy more gold. We're going to buy more silver. We're going to buy this house. We're going to buy this investment property. What are we doing to make sure that we're being okay for the future? Excuse me. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. What are we doing about our future Ashley's future and the grandkids' future, because that's what we care about. I don't care if Macron married a woman or a man. Doesn't matter to me. Not even this much. Not even that much. And other than Obama and Big Mike, I don't really care about that either. It doesn't affect me at all. So, in that regard, what's going on in the golden age of America certainly does. Certainly makes me my blood get happy. And I know what's going on with Zohar the Great up in New York, and what's going on. And I saw Boca Raton posted an ad in Times Square saying, come on down. The phones are ringing, people. See, one of the reason I may have to go to one show, I'm going to talk to Ashley about this on Monday, is the amount of business that's happening in real estate. Let me see if I can pull that up really quick. I should have had that ready to talk about today as we're talking about some prosperity and stuff. But it's incredible what we're seeing. And because of that, so many things are happening. Hold on, let me show you this, because I don't like saying things without there being an actual story associated with it. And here we go. This was from yesterday. Might be worth it. Okay, Boca Raton spent $70,000 on a Times Square advertisement to lure New York businesses and attempting to attract New York City-based businesses and people. Boca Raton officials recently spent $70,000 for a Times Square ad, which ultimately comes from ad valorem taxes. And there was a big ad, join us in Boca. And I went, yeah, it might be worth it to do for the same people looking to move. But then again, don't come here with your lib-nut ideology. We don't want that. Nonetheless, we're seeing things move so quickly. I mean, real estate is that part of the rocket ship. We're talking to a lot of people who are, how could I say this, interest rate agnostic. What does that mean, Barry? They don't care. They don't need mortgages, or the mortgages they need are, very small, and they're buying stuff sight unseen. Hey, this house looks good. It's going to cost you X, Y, Z. Okay, I'll send you an offer. You don't want to see it? Nope. Go take some pictures. I can see it on Realtor.com. I can see all the way it's laid out. Here's my offer. It's insane. And it's funny because I see Ron DeSantis do his press conferences, and he's playing with these people who are just screaming about alligator Alcatraz, and we're all out here laughing, absolutely laughing at these Democrat nuts who are trying to portray things as one, and when it's completely the opposite. And President Trump is laughing at them too. Like, golden era, baby, golden age. And then yesterday, many of you saw what happened. Pretty crazy. All right, so again, you watched another movie yesterday. You may not have realized that you were watching another movie. President Trump walks out. Hey, we're here, we're touring the Federal Reserve and everything. And, this thing is horribly over budget, $3.1 billion over budget. And Jerome Powell's like, what are you talking about, bro? Bam. Now, again, when I say choreographed, understand what you saw when that happened. He knew what he was going to do before he went there. It was already ordained. I am going to embarrass the crap out of this incompetent nincompoop sitting over here who thinks he's controlling the interest rates in America, who doesn't even know what the budgets are. And so, of course, liberal media, he clapped back at Trump by saying it was, from a building from 5 years ago. And I'm like, clap back? It's still the same project, you nimrods. So President Trump had this to say. It was a great honor to tour the renovation and some new construction of the Federal Reserve building with Chairman Jerome Pal, Senator Tim Scott, and others. It's got a long way to go. Would have been much better if it never even started in the first place. But it is what it is, and hopefully it will be finished as soon as possible. The cost overruns are substantial, but on the positive side, our country is doing very well and can afford just about anything. See, I find that to be important. That's basically telling Americans, even in the bad stuff, you can find stuff and you can make your adjustments because it's going to be overall very prosperous. Robin and I are looking at a property, and that property, beautiful property, but it doesn't have a screen enclosure over the pool area. And that makes a big difference depending on where your house is. A screen enclosure could be, I don't know, $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 to put up a huge screen enclosure, like almost like an aviary over a pool area. However, we found out that the entirety of the structure is tax deductible. So it doesn't matter. That's the good stuff behind the bad stuff. And a lot of people don't know to look there. And so I called a certain lawyer you guys know. Hey, what about this? Can we do anything about that? Oh, that's completely tax deductible. Oh. So it can be done and we can just write it off. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, let's do it. And so President Trump is telling everybody else the cost overruns are substantial, but on the positive side, our country is doing very well and can afford just about anything, even the cost of this building. And I just found that out personally today. I didn't know that because before you couldn't write off things like that. They say that's part of the pool or something. But now it's looked at as a Capex. Capex meaning capital expenditure. You're doing something to improve a structure. And a screened pool, it attaches to the house. And so now because it attaches to the house, it's like almost putting an addition on. Cha-ching, ching, ching. Bingo. All right, so let's continue with this. Even the cost of this building, I'll be watching and hopefully adding some expertise. As everyone, I'll be watching. I love that. As everyone knows, I renovated the old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue, and it was a roaring success. The total construction cost was a small fraction of the Fed's costs, and it is many times the size. With all that being said, let's just get it finished, and even more importantly, lower the interest rates. Speaking of pardons, you saw where there was some inference made that there may have been some illegalities done in renovations for the Federal Reserve building. $2.5 billion, $3 billion overrun. Let's see what we can see here. And as he says here, I'm going to start keeping a closer eye on things. Hey, let's get interest rates done. All right, so now Barry's shifting into my screenwriter mode here. And my screenwriter mode says, let's go to the Federal Reserve. Let's go ahead and tour it. Let's see the crime scene that it is. Let's go ahead and let everybody know that we now know this is a crime scene. However, we can keep your sorry ass out of jail if you lower interest rates next week. So, am I predicting that interest rates will get lowered soon? I can't really predict, but it would fit in the movie scene that I just wrote. It would fit in the movie that Trump just went there. Hey, looks like you're $1 billion, $3 billion. Oh, how did he know this? He knew it before he stepped foot there. Now, do you want him to keep digging? Or you want to just enjoy the prosperity? We'll get this thing done. You're going to step away. But you're going to lower interest rates. That's the movie I'm writing right now. Seeing how this guy acts. And now he's letting people know I'm digging in. So what do you want to do? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Man, we're 34 minutes in. I still haven't gotten to the interview. Next thing he did that completely freaked out people. And this is something that you're probably going to have to dig into and read because as part of your daily homework, even though it's a weekend, you think you're getting off easy? Nah. Trump ain't letting you off like that. I can't. So he decides yesterday to put together an executive order and say, get all these homeless people out of here. They got to go. Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser, yeah, you don't know what the hell you're doing. We're going to clean this place up. Remember he said about taking over D.C. and running it? Well, you're going to hear that in the interview. So I'll hold this let me hold this section until that part of the interview, because it's it's getting good here. Exactly, Barry. Yeah. Jerome Pal getting kickbacks from the debt holders. Who are they? Again, I think Powell got the message. Absolutely. You saw his face. Now, again, I don't want anybody coming back at me, oh, you were wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm just conjecturizing, or if that's a word. I'm just thinking. We're watching so many things take place, and we're watching a master conductor at this point. I don't care what you think of Trump. You can think he's a womanizing idiot, but you can't take away from the fact that he orchestrates very, very well. And remember, he's had 4 years to put this entire grand symphony together that you're watching. Nothing is by accident. There are no coincidences. No coincidence. Trump, the superintendent, pops out of nowhere. And it was just like that. Hey, you know, they're $3 billion overrun. Really? I don't think so. yeah, it says so right here. You want to look at it? And I'm thinking, oh my God, he just eviscerated him on television. He just let everybody know this guy didn't know what the hell he was doing. Big time. The maestro. He's indeed a maestro. That was a good question, too. The government owns the Federal Reserve building. Why are we paying for it? Good point. Good point. Very good point. Barry, you are the best news person. I appreciate you breaking down. I just try. You know, a lot of it sometimes it's my opinion, but I try to look. I try to see what I'm seeing, and I go back into different ways this guy has done things. I'm telling you, if you go back, or if you haven't read Art of the Deal, what's that, 30 years old now, maybe 35 years old, that book, and just see what he did, you're like, oh my gosh, you did that? Yeah, I did that. I mean, everything from the skating rink to how he built Trump Tower, how he dealt with the mobsters in New York, everything is all there. Let's see here. Barry, send your shirts to Jimmy and Shannon to put the embroidery logo on. All right, maybe if I can find out who Jimmy and Shannon are. I don't have their email. All right, so let's go ahead. Yeah, NBC, of course, spun it as though Powell fact-checked Trump. You got to be a complete idiot to think that. If I'm building a project, and again, this is, okay, let me address that. These people on television, I would say 95% of them have never done anything. They don't understand building projects. They don't understand what goes into projects, how you do it, how you get the financing, what the timing of it. They don't understand any of it. They've never built or renovated anything. Many of them haven't even renovated their own kitchens. And so they don't understand what they're reporting on. Oh, yeah, Powell fact-checked him. Okay, so how did he fact-check him? By saying that it was another building? It's the same project. If you go to get a home equity line of credit from your bank, or you go to get a business loan, or you go to get a developmental loan or construction loan, what are you building? Well, I'm building this, you know, little park here thing, and it's a business park, and over here you got offices, and here you got the garage, and here's like the cafeteria, and your bank says, good, I'll give you $1 million to go ahead and build it. All right, the first phase we're going to do is we're going to build the parking lot, and that may, we might get that done 2 years before we get the other stuff done. It's still part of the same project, morons. Oh, that was before. You still spent money, didn't you? and it's amazing to me when I hear people in the news not understanding business whatsoever, and they count on their audiences not knowing business. And it's worked to a certain extent on conservatives as well who don't know business. And so when they hear that, oh yeah, he was talking about another building from 3 or 4 years ago, it's part of the same project. And so if you've never done a project and you don't understand phasing of development, then you'd never know it was the same damn loan. I hope I didn't leave you guys in the weeds with that, but phasing is really important in development. You know, even when you renovate a house, there's phasing to it. If you're going to take drawdowns, okay, I'm going to go in, and what are you going to do, Barry? I'm going to put a new roof on, we're going to change the kitchen, we're going to change the electrical service, and then we're going to put tile in, and the lender will say, okay, we'll give you a 15% draw when you're finished the roof. Okay, that may take, 60, 90 days, depending on permitting and supplies. What's next, Barry? Now we're going to go in, and we're going to do demolition on the inside. Okay, and we're going to give you a 5% draw based upon the completion of the demolition. Now we're going to do a replumb. We're going to dig up the concrete and put more plumbing in. And at the same time, we're going to rewire inside. Okay, when that's complete, we'll give you another 10%. And so on, and so on, and so on. But even when the house is completely renovated or built, when you're putting in the last, paint and everything else, and you're paying a painter and a landscaper, and maybe the roof went on a year ago, but it's still the same project. They don't get that. I hope you do. Hope that explanation helped you guys out. All right, so let's get into this press conference. So President Trump left this morning early, 8 o'clock a.m., heading to Scotland. And as he normally does, he walks out of the White House and he takes questions from reporters, and he had a whole bunch of people on the sidelines, and it was awesome. Unlike Biden, who would have to shuffle to the helicopter, President Trump loves an audience. And he stayed there for about 22 minutes. Let's take a listen. I'll jump in when I got to tell you something.
Maxwell as well. Here's the tape. Let's go to it now. White House.
Too much winning, sir. They know it. And it is a lot of winning.
Tallahassee, Florida. On the possibility for clemency for Maxwell, he said it's an ongoing investigation. Then I'll share one more comment. It says can't talk about any talk about of a pardon for Gilly Maxwell as well. Here's the tape. Let's go to it now. White House.
Too much winning, sir. They know it. And it is a lot of winning. We had the best 6 months ever. We're now heading to Scotland. I'm meeting with the Prime Minister of UK. Some of you are going, I guess, and a lot of you aren't. Are you going? Huh?
All right, before we go, that earlier part was when he was talking about the pardon. Now, this is always going to be the type of sound you hear. The helicopter rotors are spinning back there, getting ready to take him to Air Force One at Andrews Air Force Base, or Joint Base Andrews, as they refer to it now. So I can't fix the sound because the helicopter's there.
Well, you got to get moving. That's a good one. That's going to be a good one. So we have great numbers we just announced. I don't have to go over it because you've seen them, but we have great economic numbers. The deal with Japan is amazing. You give us $550 billion, and we have totally open access into Japan. Those numbers are great. I mean, the kids actually just said very, very cute, actually. I walked up, they said, sir, there's too much winning. They picked up on a little routine, Go ahead.
Mr. President, can I ask you about the DOJ lawsuit that you filed yesterday against New York City and Mayor Adams? In the lawsuit, they named the CBP officer that was officer who was shot. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's DOJ going against New York, but we're going against a lot of other places, too. We want to bring safety to our cities, but that's going to be a pretty routine filing. With other cities, too. As you know, we've started numerous lawsuits with other cities. We want to bring safety. We've got to get the criminals out, and we're doing it in record numbers.
Sir, is the U.S. giving up on Gaza in negotiations?
Yeah, Gaza, they pulled out of Gaza. They pulled out in terms of negotiating. It was too bad. Hamas didn't really want to make a deal. I think they want to die. And it's very, very bad. And it got to be to a point where you're going to have to finish the job. They really, they asked the thing. Don't forget, we got a lot of hostages out. So now we're down to the final hostages. And they know what happens after you get the final hostages. And basically, because of that, they really didn't want to make a deal. I saw that. So they pulled out, and they're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to clean it up. You're going to have to get rid of it.
What are you hoping Todd Blanche gets out of his meetings with Gilly Maxwell?
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about, because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about, and they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them, they talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
So that's the first time I've heard him actually reference certain people. Many of you have known that Bill Clinton was one of the names, but Larry Summers, that's a new name. Wonder where he got those names from. Wonder why now, of all this time, he's mentioning Larry Summers, some of the guys in hedge funds, which you'll hear as well, and Bill Clinton. Why did he drop those names today on his way out of town? On the same token, in the same moment where the previous story that when Bill Hemmer cut in, the previous story was about Gilly Maxwell wanting a pardon. So right after they do the story about the pardon, he walks out and goes, "Hey, why aren't you talking about Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, his buddies?" Coincidences? I don't know.
Are you considering before you do any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering clemency for Gilly Maxwell? Are you considering clemency for Gilly Maxwell, sir?
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House. Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
Right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Near the Treasury.
Right across the Mafia
Have you heard
about Todd Lance's interview with Gilly
Maxwell? Are you still disappointed in President Biden
or Clemens?
All right, so that pissed him off. You could see it in his face. He had to stop for a second. Where'd you see these homeless people? Oh, they're right over there by the bed. Or by the Treasury? Yeah. And it pissed him off because what he's telling you, in no uncertain terms, just by that look, is that he told Muriel Bowser, "Get your stuff together. I'm not going to be dealing with this. Don't make me have to take over Washington, D.C." Because yesterday, and here's some information for you, yesterday he signed this executive order. This is executive order yesterday, July 24th. You can see the date. Ending crime and disorder on America's streets. All right, so this order here is by the authority invested in me as president, yada, yada, yada. I'm the grand poobah. Because of endemic vagrancy, disorderly behaviors, sudden confrontations, blah, 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 blah. Here's why. Because of all this stuff here, nearly 2/3 of homeless individuals report having drug use, meth, coke, opioids, all this kind of stuff. Shifting homeless individuals into long-term institutional settings for humane treatment through the appropriate use of civil commitment will restore this public order. Surrendering our cities and citizens to disorder and fear is neither compassionate to the homeless or other citizens. My administration will take a new approach focused on protecting public safety. And so he says the Attorney General, in consultation with the Secretary of HHS, shall take appropriate action to seek in appropriate cases the reversal of federal or state judicial precedents and the termination of consent decrees that impede the U.S. policy of encouraging civil commitment of individuals with mental illness who pose risk to themselves or the public or are living on the streets and cannot care for themselves in appropriate facilities for appropriate periods of time. Blah. What does that all mean? We're putting these people in nut houses. That's what it means. They can sue all they want. But he's looking to reverse that where we no longer put people in asylums. He's like, we need to put them in asylums. They need to go. For the other ones who aren't whacked, we need to provide assistance to state and local governments to, do whatever we need to do. Fighting vagrancy on American streets, enforce prohibitions on open illicit drug use, enforce prohibitions on urban camping. That's a big one, because that also would talk about something else. And loitering, enforce prohibitions on urban squatting. So I want you guys, to go. It's a long one, but it talks about everything that's happening. And this is what he wrote. And I mean, this is what was signed yesterday. It's an executive order in effect right now. And it says the Attorney General shall ensure that the homeless be arrested for federal crimes or evaluated consistent with 18 U.S. 4248. I mean, it's a well-written executive order to clean up not just Washington, D.C., but other liberal hellholes as well. Kensington up in Pennsylvania, Detroit, Baltimore. This is a huge, huge, huge executive order, which he will undoubtedly be sued for. No doubt. These people will run because they don't want these people cleaned off the streets of LA and Baltimore and Cleveland and Detroit. They don't want that. They want them living in the street. And they definitely don't want them put in insane asylums. And they don't want them committed. This would be almost military in terms of how he would have to enforce this. And so they're going to sue. But so far, again, Pam Bondi won another one. She's now like 21-0 in terms of getting these lawsuits thrown out. Someone's going to go ahead and put a temporary restraining order here. And I don't know what grounds. Well, they deserve to live on the street. They deserve to defecate and wee wherever they want. No, you don't. And if you can't take care of yourself, then you are a vagrant. There used to be a law, I don't remember how long ago, but you had to have at least enough money to make a public phone call or take a bus in your pocket. I don't remember what the amount was, but I think you had to have like $3 or $4 in your pocket in order to be not considered a vagrant. And if you're a vagrant, they ran you in. No walking around with supermarket carts full of crap. You can't just lay around, and we have allowed it for decades for people just to go sleeping on a park bench. That's not where you live. I'm not being heartless, because if I was being heartless, I would tell the people, get out of here, and we got nowhere for you. Trump's saying, get out of here. We're going to put you in this car and take you to where you can go to sleep. We're going to take you where you can take a shower and try to be a functioning human being again. Not whacked out on meth or fentanyl or something, or waka, what do they call it stuff? Waka, where they all look like zombies hanging out and stuff. Have you seen them? They all look like human zombies. That's not what the streets of America are supposed to look like. And President Trump, with his executive order, has now said, clean it up. And what you're going to see is a lot of governors and mayors in red areas cleaning up their cities, putting people back into insane asylums, or at least getting them spray cleaned and get them washed, get their hair cut. Now go get a job. Or if you're having a problem, we'll get some people to talk to you. If you got some PTSD, what's wrong? Why have we never addressed what is wrong with these people? Why do we walk by people who are just sitting there, zonked out, and we throw them $1 or so, and that doesn't help them? I mean, I personally have gone, and especially at a 7-Eleven, and somebody goes, can I get some money for food? I'm like, I got one better for you, bro. Come on in with me, and I will buy you some food. I am not going to give you money so you can go buy beer or whiskey or another hit. Come on in. I'll get you a hot dog. We'll get you a sub. I might get you 2 subs so you have something for later. And I can't tell you how many people have said no. You just asked me for money for food. I'm going to get you some food. No, that's all right, man. Don't you want to eat? Or did you really just want to go buy another hit? See, now those people, something needs to happen. They need to be cleaned up. And I'm not being judgmental. As a Christian, it is incumbent upon me to try and help those who are in lesser positions. And I would love to help people in lesser positions. Now, it's like, hey, can I give you a ride to the hospital? Or should I call them and then just have them come pick you up? It's your choice at this point, because when you read this order and what he's trying to do here, this is incredible. He says assess federal resources to determine whether they may be directed towards ensuring to the extent permitted are not released into the public because of lack of forensic bed capacity at state or federal jails or hospitals. It's time somebody did something about this. I can't understand how we can be such a prosperous nation with people sleeping on the street, even if it's of their own volition. I'm not talking about the family who gets evicted. Those people have all kinds of resources. All kinds of resources to help the family and the kids and everything else. I'm talking about the people you have seen who look like they haven't taken a bath in 3 or 4 weeks, who are down on their luck, or have made themselves down on their luck because of addiction. They need forced help. There's no other way around it. I'm sorry, Democrats. If somebody looks like that, you walk up and they're looking like this, and they can't even function, that person doesn't belong on the street. That person needs to be institutionalized. It's not a bad thing. I care for their life. If you think that's a right to look like this and not know where you are, if you think that's better than having them institutionalized, you're a very evil person. I would much rather that person, hey, take them in, do a blood test, find out what they need, because eventually they're going to be dead. They're playing Russian roulette every single day with their life. And so the compassionate person is feed them, clean them, heal them, not leave them looking like zombies on the street, or having some woman have to do ungodly things so she can get her next fix. Every time I drive by, one of these places, and you see, men are one thing, but you see a woman out there, and you know that this woman is having to perform all kinds of circus tricks just to eat, just to get the next fix. I don't want to see that with anybody, any woman. And so if you have compassion and you care about people, there's only a couple things you can do. Clean them up, educate them, feed them, detox them, or jail them. But we can't leave them on the street. And President Trump signed an executive order yesterday. And so when he heard that guy, he's like, where are they? Because he knows now, he goes, right in front of the White House, where I told Muriel Bowser to pick these people up. We got to fix the country. And I don't see how anybody thinks that's a intrusion on anyone's civil rights, because obviously the FLACA and all the stuff that they're taking has already impeded their civil rights. They can't do anything. They're absolute zombies. Nobody wants to see that. That's not being elitist. I mean, there are certain areas and certain places where you go, you can't drive, you can't get out the car. And I've gone to some of these places in Miami, and I'm like, Robin, I'm not even stopping here for gas. I can't go pump gas because I don't want somebody lurking out the shadows. We'll just keep going. We'll find some place where, it's in a better area. And you hate saying that, because it's like, or you peep down the street and you see them lurking. Wow. Yeah, Mary, you're absolutely right. It's a terrible life that they live. Greg says that's a terrible subject. I have a great friend that lost a daughter and turned to heroin, and wow. And now she's so strung out. I've tried everything to get her help. I even offered to pay for rehab. The stuff that gets in these systems of people has such a strong hold on them that they can't extricate themselves from it. They're going to have to be forced. It's not a matter of intruding on someone's civil rights. It's trying to keep someone from dying or doing really bad things. I worked for a guy back when I was in college. I was a bouncer. And this guy was a young guy at the time, and he had this fantastic nightclub on a college campus. Excuse me. was making millions. And then he got hooked on blow. And I remember to this day, 30, 40 years ago, that they're like, what happened to XYZ guy? And I'm like, here's what happened to him. He had the world in his hands, and somebody said, do you want to do a line? And he goes, where? And I'm like, that's the most perfect analogy. You had everything. You had everything right there. And because this drug had such a hold on you, you went, oh, and it just dropped. Sorry for that tangent there, but drug abuse, homeless people, that kind of stuff, I really do have a heart for it, and I would love to, if you're in a problem, you need a fix, and you want to find a way out, well, the first thing I'm going to recommend is the Bible. And the second thing is, if you can't even read the Bible because you're too whacked, we can help you find your way out. But see, so many people, you extend that, they don't want it. So some people, we are going to have to force them into insane asylums and rehab. Just going to have to. All right, let's continue. Sorry about that.
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration.
Now understand, President Trump's signature is everywhere. It doesn't even take you to be that good in Photoshop to take a snapshot of his signature and put it on a document. It's not hard at all. It can take you about 5-10 minutes. But again, this is now the second time in the last 5 minutes that he's mentioned Clinton and Larry Summers, and now he's added the hedge fund guys.
Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir, towards 15th.
We'll take care of it.
See, that was the second time. And so this guy, first guy said, I seen him over in front of the Treasury. And this guy says, I saw him over in Lafayette Park. And he turns and he looks over at somebody and he nods. So right then he gave almost like a mob boss giving a hit list. He's like, I'm sick of this. You saw some too? Yeah. Get on it. Pissed him off.
Are you hoping to meet with President Trump for bringing hostages home? What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips, and they really broke a deal. They broke a deal. And you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always knew that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Gilly Maxwell if
it's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir?
Why has the dollar fallen so much, and are you concerned about that?
Well, you know, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar, but a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you, I don't know if you study it, but I study it. And if you look at the yen,
I went to Penn and worked, so I know this.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Penn.
I went to work. Yes,
well, that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar. Not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first people that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good. But with that being said, I love strong dollars. But you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominated over the years. So when I see it down there, I don't lose sleep over it, let's put it that way. In fact, sometimes I go to sleep very happy. You understand? Do you agree with me?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. President. Do you think it makes it any easier to impose your tariff with that lower dollar? Because
I think it makes it easier even for tariffs, yeah. And it makes the tariffs worth much more. And it's easier to pay off debt. And it's easier to get a low interest rate. There are a lot of good things. It's hard to explain to people. The headline, Trump wants a weak dollar. It's not a weak dollar. You take a look at the history of China over the last 20 years. All they do is fight for a weak currency. Look at Japan when they were really doing well. They had a very weak currency. So to me, I just say, thank you very much. It is what it is.
President, what's your comment on ceasefire? Have you given up on a Gaza ceasefire?
Well, the Gaza situation, and I said this was going to happen when you get down to your last 10 or 20. We got a lot of hostages out. We took them out in numbers that nobody believed, a lot of them. And I said, when you get down to 10 or 20, I don't think Hamas is going to make a deal because that means they have no protection. And basically, that's what happened. Hamas didn't want to make a deal.
Have you seen that photo?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to be hunted down.
Have you seen
secondary sanctions sooner on Russia? Are you closer today to secondary sanctions?
We're looking at that whole situation. It could be that we'll have to put secondary sanctions on them.
Sooner than 50 days?
Maybe, yeah.
Do you think it will counterproductive?
Who are you with? Who are you with?
Scripps News.
Oh, good.
Counterproductive to France, for France to say that they would recognize the Palestinian state. Macron said that yesterday.
Look, he's a different kind of a guy. He's okay. He's a team player, pretty much. But here's the good news. What he says doesn't matter. You know, it's not going to change it. Well, he made a statement, France, Macron. His statement doesn't carry any weight. He's a very good guy. I like him, but that statement doesn't carry weight.
So how about a trade deal with the EU?
I would say that we have a 50-50 chance, maybe less than that, but a 50-50 chance of making a deal with the EU. And it'll be a deal where they have to buy down their tariffs, because they're right now at 30%. And they'll have to buy them down, maybe, or they could leave them the way they are. But they want to make a deal very badly. I would have said we have a 25% chance with Japan, and they kept coming back, and we made a deal, and the deal is, don't forget, Japan's putting up $550 billion. It's a lot of money. And also paying tariffs. The biggest part of the Japan deal, and maybe we get this with EU, maybe we don't, is that we have the right to go in and trade. We have the right. They've totally opened Japan to just to the U.S. That's, to me, the biggest part of the deal.
Well, that was higher
nuclear disarmament. You said repeatedly you would like to see further nuclear arms reductions between the United States and
I would like
Russia.
to see that.
But the New START treaty is expiring in about 6 months, and it cannot be legally extended.
That's a problem. That's a problem for the world.
Create a new one.
It's a problem for the world. You know, we have restrictions, and they have restrictions, as you know, on nuclear. That's not an agreement you want expiring. We're starting to work on that, but that is a big problem for the world. When you take off nuclear restrictions, that's a big problem for the world.
What level hierarchy, Mr. President?
I think that Jerome Pal, I think we had a very good meeting. Forgetting about the building, that's out of control and all that. But I think we had a very good meeting on interest rates. And he said to me, now I don't know if he's going to say this on Thursday or whenever he speaks, but he said to me very strongly, the country is doing well. He said, congratulations, the country is doing really well. And I got that to mean that I think he's going to start recommending lower rates.
Because of that conversation?
How do you think that the Supreme
The country really is doing well.
Mr. President, how do you think that
Record business.
Did you speak to Netanyahu?
Thank you, Mr. President. How do you think that the Supreme Court's ruling that benefited you on presidential immunity would apply to former President Barack Obama and what you're accusing him of doing?
It probably helps him a lot. Probably helps him a lot, the immunity ruling. But it doesn't help the people around him at all. But it probably helps him a lot. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it. But he has immunity, and it probably helps him a lot.
Trade agreement you're looking to sign too.
He owes me big. Obama owes me big.
What are the details in the UK trade agreement you're hoping to sign soon with the Prime Minister?
This week we want to talk about certain aspects which is going to be good for both countries. More fine-tuning, and also we're going to do a little celebrating together because, you know, we got along very well. UK's been trying to make a deal with us for like 12 years and haven't been able to do it. We got it done. He's doing a very good job.
All right, so I'm going to come back to that in a second. But I think, as you saw, some people in the chat say that President Trump has now landed in Scotland. And so I want to bring you that and let you see what happened within like the last couple minutes. So hold on, let me start running it, and you guys can see this for yourself.
Holly has earrings and we're back.
Holly, what are you doing? Don't do that. You'll hurt your eyes.
Oh, now it's even far distance.
Yeah, they actually do.
There it is. See it?
Where?
You can just see two lights. See it?
I can't see anything.
You see two lights in the sort of a lighter colour cloud, but it's like a triangle but cloud. Right on the edge of the cloud.
No.
No. I can't see it. It's just up behind the bit of cloud.
All right, so those are people in the background in Scotland, and they're seeing Air Force One come in. The people that you're seeing up there are obviously the Secret Service sniper team, and they're checking out, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. In a second, they're going to cut over to the big bird coming in. You can actually hear it. I can hear in the background the people excited.
Many of us put one now.
And so they're seeing it come in at this point.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here, I'll cut to it.
Go and stand right in there. No, stand there. You'll see it coming in. You'll see it coming right in. Right, just stand still because this man's getting videos of it, okay? Alright, stand still.
Look at it, Mommy. All the way over there. Look at it. It's so cool.
You can see it close up. It's blue and white.
Blue and white? What do you mean blue and white?
Can you see it?
I can't believe it. Who?
See if I was that other way about it. They're getting banged on right now. Banged on right now.
Just stop it. Why?
Leaving that way about it.
Daddy keeps putting his hand in front of my shoulder.
I can do it.
Daddy, keep your hand up in front of the camera.
All of you stop put your hands in front of the camera.
This is the one that I found quite similar.
Yes, this is Air Force One landing in Scotland. I have it on a delayed tape. Yes, he already landed. I see people in the chat, as they always say, he's already on the ground. Some of people who are watching here haven't seen it, so I'm showing the replay of Air Force One as it landed in Scotland. All right, so that's what we're watching.
Look at him. He's flying with the wind of the bird.
Imagine he just took his landing
Listen to my laugh.
He's watching?
Stand in the way. Do not say that. Do not say
No, it would just Did the Capex fill with a couple of them?
Just make watch, just kids.
The left hand side of the stairs.
That's what I was doing before.
That is open on the pressure. We're going to be getting after playing that side.
I have fallen there once before another day.
Sorry, so I mean, just.
Ollie. Guys, come on.
if you think this plane is big, wait until you see the plane show up that's got the limos and everything else in it. The big, I don't even know which one is a C something, maybe a C30, whatever. But that is one big giant plane for sure. I'm going to fast forward it to see if this particular feed caught him talking as he got off the plane. In the interim, while I'm checking the feed for what happened here, I'm going to let this run. Actually, no, I can't, because I need to go and check a different feed, see if I can fast forward. Or do you guys, let me know, do you guys want me to just leave this on so you guys can see him get off the plane and everything else? C-17, okay, that's what somebody was saying. I'll just let this keep running until he gets off. It might be a couple of minutes. Let me see if I can fast forward. Hold on a second. Let me do this. What should I do here? Well, you guys tell me. Just let it keep going. Majority I get tears when I see the writing on the side if I know that Donald Trump is inside. Yeah. Yeah, the big plane would have to be there in advance because they got to have the limos ready to go. So you're absolutely right. All right. Okay, so I've got the other feed where he gets off the plane and has the little gaggle with the the press. So I'm going to cut from here, let this run real quick, and while this is running, I'm going to get the other feed where he's talking to the press. All right, so hold 1 second. You'll be able to see him on this other feed getting off the plane and talking to the press. 1 second. We're in a very volatile time right now. There's plenty of financial uncertainty. Now is not the time to be speculative. And I'm also speaking from a personal perspective. I'm buying income-producing real estate, and I'm buying gold and silver. A lot of people don't know the difference between the economy and the stock market. And too many people listen to the news and social media. That'll get you in trouble. Let's face it. It's obvious that a lot of people have an agenda they're not telling you about. Right now, your best bet is stability, and that means you might need to build a hedge against global volatility. May I recommend gold and silver to you? Real gold and real silver, not paper, not certificates, actual gold and silver. What gold and silver can give you is absolute peace of mind. A stock is only as good as the company behind it. It's merely a piece of paper. One of the things I can tell you is that many people are finding out the hard way that some of their investments were built on quicksand. Gold will never be worth zero. Silver will never be worth zero. If you want to calm some of your fears, give my friends at Lear Capital a call today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. Just so you know, Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $5 billion in trusted transactions. And Lear is the only gold company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So go to learberry.com. If you want peace of mind, give my friends at Lear Capital a call at 800-601-5430. Or look down here below and go to learberry.com. And don't forget to ask about getting up to $15,000 in free gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't wait. Do it now. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Be safe. All right, so through the magic of feeds, I now have the feed where he's going to be getting off Air Force One here any minute, and then he's going to be talking to the press. So as soon as he comes off the plane and starts talking to the press, you'll see it and you'll be able to hear everything that's being said at that time. So just waiting for him to step off the plane. I think he does it. I'm not really sure, but let's go ahead. There's a C-5A. It carries several limos and refuels any fuel loaded on the jets that have to be certified. That's a big plane. That's a big plane. They need a female one so species don't get extinct. I'm not sure what that is. Personally, I like the AC-130. That's a plane you don't want to see flying around you. Is that the real big one, the C-130? Yeah, that might be it. In 2007, Air Force One would do a touch and go at the Triad International Airport with another humongous green military plane. It was awesome to watch, but would deafen you. I bet. I can't even imagine what it would take to see this big plane come down and then do a touch and go. Touch and go is basically where they hit the ground and then gas right back up and go back up. A plane that size, number one, you got to have a real strong plane and a really good pilot, which I'm sure they have. C-17s and C-5s, they say. President Trump is off to Scotland to play Trump Turnberry. Yep, that's his golf course. Men look good in kilts, at least some men do. Reminds me of an old joke by a band called Jethro Tull, but I won't say it because there are women present. It's 12 hours ahead. Really? So, what are you saying? It's 4 o'clock in the morning there? Nah, I think it's 6 hours ahead. It doesn't look like it's nighttime. But anyway, is this thing still running? Yeah, it's running. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check this to make sure it's running. Hold on. All right, here he comes. I had to push it forward.
Yes, I'll be meeting with the EU on Sunday, and we'll be working on a deal. We'll see if we make a deal. Ursula will be here, highly respected woman, so we look forward to that. That'll be good. We'll have numerous executives that we're meeting with. We're going to be meeting with a lot of people. A lot of people will be staying at Turnberry, and then we're going to Aberdeen, which is the oil capital of Europe, actually.
Mr. President, can you explain what is missing in the UK deal that you have to work out?
Nothing. I think it's more of a celebration than a workout. It's a great deal for both, and we're going to have a meeting on other things other than the deal. The deal is concluded. Well, that's what he does. I mean, that's fine if he does that. That's up to him. It's not up to me. I'm with the United States. I'm not with France.
And the humanitarian situation in Gaza, we hear very dire warnings about.
I think it's terrible what happened with Hamas. They tapped everybody along, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what response Israel has to that. But it's getting to be that time.
What is left to work out? What are the final sticking points?
I don't know. With the European Union, I think we have a good 50-50 chance. That's a lot.
What are the sticking points?
Well, I don't want to tell you what the sticking points are, but the sticking points are having to do with maybe 20 different things. You don't want to listen to all of them. Yes?
What advice are you going to have for our Prime Minister about free speech? Very important to people here.
Well, it is, but I like your Prime Minister. He's slightly more liberal than I am, as you've probably heard, but he's a good man. He got a trade deal done. And, they've been working on this deal for 12 years. He got it done. It's a good deal. It's a good deal for the UK. So, no, I'll be seeing him tomorrow, I guess, tomorrow evening. And this is our wonderful ambassador, as you know. He's doing a good job. He's a very, very successful man. He'll be doing a good job.
The Royal and Ancient says you're going to have to improve infrastructure at Turnberry to bring the Open back. Is that something you're going to
I don't know. The best course anywhere in the world is Turnberry. The players all want to be at Turnberry. Everybody wants to be at Turnberry, so we'll see how that works out.
The infrastructure needs to be improved.
I think the infrastructure and the course is good. In fact, the Royal and Ancient, I don't know if you're aware of this, they spent a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or probably into the millions of dollars, and they've laid all the wire for television and for electricity under the holes of Turnberry, so that when the Open gets there, they have it all done. They paid for that.
But we're talking about roads and railway stations.
I don't know. See, I don't know what you can do. All I can tell you is that it would be the best place anywhere in your country to have. There's no place like it. There's no place like Turnberry. It's probably the best course in the world. And I would say Aberdeen is right up there also. Aberdeen's great. And while we're here, I'll be with my son, and he's going to cut a ribbon for the second course at Aberdeen, which is just about equal to the first. I mean, it's going to be a battle. It's, as you know, they're very highly rated. And the second course is great. Sean Connery helped get me the permits. If it weren't for Sean Connery, we wouldn't have those great courses. No, I was never briefed. No.
Did you ask what are you hoping Todd Blanche interviewing Gilly Maxwell? What are you hoping that they get out of that?
I really have really nothing to say about it. She is being talked to by a very smart man, by a very good man, Todd Blanche. And I don't know anything about the conversation. I haven't really been following it. A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons. But a lot of people have asked about pardon. This is just not a time to be talking about pardons. Todd will come back with whatever he's got. You're making a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton. Talk about the former president of Harvard. talk about all of his friends, talk about the hedge fund guys that were with him all the time. Don't talk about Trump. What you should be talking about is the fact that we have the greatest 6 months in the history of a presidency, according to a lot of people. And we had an amazing 6 months. And this is sort of an example of it. Now we're meeting with the European Union, we're also meeting with, as you know, the head of UK, Prime Minister, and I look forward to that. But we're meeting in terms of a deal. We're meeting with the European Union, and that would be actually the biggest deal of them all if we make it.
Did you ask House Republican leaders to not vote on the resolution about releasing the files?
I was never involved in that. I'm focused on making deals. I'm not focused on conspiracy theories that you are. I mean, I watch you people. It's so sad. You ought to talk about the success of our country instead of this nonsense you talk about over and over again.
You've done an amazing job on illegal migration in America.
I have.
People here are very worried about the situation. Record numbers.
Well, I say two things to Europe. Stop the windmills. You're ruining your countries. I really mean it. It's so sad. You fly over and you see these windmills all over the place, ruining your beautiful fields and valleys and killing your birds, and if they're stuck in the ocean, ruining your oceans. Stop the windmills. And there's a couple of things I could say, but on immigration, you better get your act together. You're not going to have Europe anymore. You got to get your act together. And we, as you know, last month we had nobody entering our country. Nobody. Shut it down. And we took out a lot of bad people that got there with Biden. Biden was a total stiff. And what he allowed to happen, but you're allowing it to happen to your countries. And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe. Many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. And they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones. But stop. This immigration is killing Europe. And the other thing, stop the windmills, killing the beauty of your countries. Thank you very much, everybody.
Last clip on the card.
All right, so wait a minute, he's still going? No, wait a second. All right, so that was President Trump's arrival in, Scotland. Their press is as bad as our press. Press all over the world, I guess, is just awful. Notice that nobody wants to talk about both. I still have to go back to our press conference, but nobody wants to talk about the big elephant in the room that is Obama and all the stuff that Obama did. Nobody. They don't want to talk about it. It's like off limits. Do not talk about Obama. Do not talk about treason. They just won't even bring it up. They're trying to make it all about Gilly Maxwell. And who cares if Macron wants to make Palestine its own state? Why Americans don't care about that. Maybe the crazy ones do. But they won't even bring up. No words, nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has given so much information and they won't even talk about it. makes me absolutely ill. I mean, it just makes me want to scream the fact that our press is so belligerent. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, so I'm going to get back to the interview that he did this morning because it was long and voluminous, and he touched on a bunch of things. But before I do that, let me tell you about the Trump signatory knife, not the red knife. Excuse me. Many of you guys are aware of the Trump red knife. That was this knife right here. And I showed you this for a couple months. People have been purchasing it. They loved it. Well, Patriot Addict, love them. And what they do here for the Fanfare family, now we've got a different one. This is called the Trump Signature Blade Knife. And it's basically the exact same knife as the red knife, but this one is a little bit different in color, and what it has on it makes it really interesting. This is the knife, 45-47. It's a black knife with red, white, and blue on it. And then when you open the blade, it is stitched into it is Donald Trump's signature. Let me see if I can get the light on that. There you go. Once the light shines on it, you can see it right there. You can see the signature, and boom, there it is right there. Trump signature on it. The only thing different really about this knife, it's a lot sharper. Very, very sharp. It still has, like the other one, the quick action to open it. It also has the window breaker, and it also has the seatbelt cutter as well. Just like with the other knife, you can get this one for free as well. This one retails for $70, but you can get it for free just by clicking the QR code on the screen. $70 is what it normally costs. You get it for free. Absolutely free. All you have to do is pay the shipping, which I believe is like $14-15. There's no subscription. There's no ongoing fees. There's no other kind of charges. This knife, you can have it for free. Just got to pay the shipping, and it's got good weight, which is why the shipping may be $13 or $14. Oh, by the way, let me just show you, just like the other knife, it is a pretty big knife. It's not small. It's weighty. It's a good knife. People who have gotten the red knife will tell you. And this is pretty much the same knife, except it's got the Trump stencil, and it's I think it's much sharper, actually. Much sharper. So if you want it, go ahead and click on the QR code on the screen right now. Again, it's free. Normally retailing for $70. You can't get much more of a discount than free. Normally $70, you get it for the cost of shipping. And the shipping, from what everybody has said in here, it comes pretty quickly. So thank you to the people at Patriot Addict for all of their support of the channel and for the Fanfare family. All right, so let's continue with the interview that President Trump was giving before he left the White House.
A good prime minister, good guy. We really get along very well. So we're going to meet at Turnberry, and we're going to meet at Aberdeen. So two beautiful places.
Is there wiggle room in steel and aluminum if they were to budge on digital services tax?
Say it.
Is there any wiggle room on steel and aluminum in exchange for any budge on digital services?
Not a lot, because if I do it for one, I have to do it for all. So on that, steel and aluminum, not a lot.
President, do you speak to Netanyahu about aid drops?
Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Mr. President, do you speak to Netanyahu about allowing aid drops in Gaza from Arab countries?
Yeah, I speak to him, but I can't tell you what I spoke to him about. But it was sort of disappointing, although I told you. I told you, when you get down to those last 20 hostages, you get down to that last 10 or 20, it's going to be very hard for Hamas to make a deal because they lose their shield, they lose their cover. We got a lot of them out. A lot of them. We took a lot of bodies out, too. So many of the parents said, please get my son's body back. And we're able to do that. We got a lot of people out, live and people that are not alive. But it was very important to the parents to get their son back, even though they knew their son was dead.
Are you going to be able to get the Open Championship back to Turnberry?
I think they will do that, yeah. They want Turnberry is rated the #1 course in the world. I think they'll do that, yeah.
And are you going to talk to anybody about that?
No, I'm not going to. It's not about that. I'm going to see it for the first time in years. You were there the last time we went. That's pretty good, right? No, it's the best resort in the world, I think. And Turnberry, and it's one of the greatest courses in the world. We're going to see it. We're going to have, I believe, dinner at Turnberry with the Prime Minister. Then we're going to go to the oil capital of Europe, which is Aberdeen, and we're going to have lunches there. We're going to have a good time. I think the Prime Minister and I get along very well.
And you're going to see the Scottish leader too, right? Swinney, John Swinney.
I am.
What's that about?
Well, we have a lot of things in Scotland. I have a lot of love. My brother was born in Scotland, and he's a good man. The Scottish leader's a good man, so I look forward to meeting him. That's all set up, right?
Paris Day is exactly 1 week from today, August the 1st. What do you expect between now and next Friday as it relates to your deadline?
When you say tariff, not Paris.
Paris.
I think you said Paris Day.
No, Paris Day.
Well, most of the deals are finished right now. They're finished because we're just going to charge a certain tariff. A lower tariff that I could get. I don't want to hurt countries. But we're going to send a letter out sometime during the week, and it's basically going to say you're going to pay 10%, you're going to pay 15%, you're going to pay maybe less, I don't know. But Australia was great. They opened up beef yesterday for the first time ever. And they did it we didn't know about. We asked them to do it, and all of a sudden we got a word that they wanted. So obviously they're looking to do something. But Australia. So August 1st is going to come, and we will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, and that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China. We haven't really. We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
When you send out those letters, do you believe that will bring some certainty to the financial markets? Because then they will know.
No. When those letters go out, they're a page and a half. That means they have a deal. It's done. They pay that tariff, and that is a contract essentially. And they can come into the country. They're going to pay a tariff. I'm going to keep it minimal. I'm going to keep it. I'm not looking to hurt countries. I could do that too, but I'm not looking to do that. But when that letter goes out, that's a deal. And we'll be sending maybe close to 200 of those letters out. Don't forget, we have a lot of countries. So we're going to be sending out almost 200 of those letters. But once those letters go out, there we have a deal. Now, we sent one to Japan, we sent one to EU, and they came back and negotiated a deal. I think EU is got a pretty good chance of making a deal.
With all of that revenue coming in, Mr. President,
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Our country was a dead country. It was a dead country 1 year ago. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And don't you feel it?
Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in tens of billions of dollars, do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in, we're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt, but we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. We just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice. Being blocked by a lot of people. People don't know this, and we didn't certainly get any acknowledgement or thank you, but we contributed $60 million to food and supplies and everything else. We hope the money gets there because, that money gets taken, the food gets taken. We're going to do more, but we gave a lot of money. We gave a majority of the money, and the sad part is that no other country other than us gives anything.
Have you spoken to Michael Walkley about running for that North Carolina?
I have, yeah.
And will he run, do you think?
I think he will.
So teacher shortages, so what can be done to get more?
Are you from North Carolina?
My father lives there.
He'll be a good candidate.
What can be done to bring more teachers, more educators into the classrooms to alleviate the teacher shortage across the country?
We're doing that, and we're doing it strongly. What we're doing is moving education back to the states. The states will run education. When they do it, you're going to have the best education in the world. We'll have 35 or 40 states where it will be as good as Sweden, Norway, Denmark, the top 5 or 6 countries.
How do you attract the top talent, the top teachers to get them into class?
We're going to get them. We already have them. When we go back to the states with education, you're going to see a big difference.
So this was President Trump, obviously leaving. Wait a minute, this one. Leaving to get to Scotland earlier this morning. We just saw him land. So that was a good press conference, except for the fact that the press won't talk about the big elephant in the room. They won't even mention it. They won't talk about Obama. That's where you guys come in and what you're going to have to do. This man's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's trying to get everything done. And the press here is doing everything they possibly can to just basically screw him over. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why we have these people. They're not going to do their jobs. And that's why their ratings are failing. And I think what happened is they just got baited into a conversation that they really didn't think was going to end up this way. I think because the Democrats, politicians have been screaming about the list. And of course, I say of course, I don't know if you know that when they got ready to do the ruling to go ahead or proposed ruling to let the files be out, the Democrats refused to sign on. But now they're in a quandary. They do not control that situation whatsoever. I mentioned to you earlier that Gilly Maxwell might be seeking a pardon. Well, I want to show you a couple of things that popped up that you might be of interest. Listen to this.
New at 2, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's meeting with convicted sex trafficker Gilly Maxwell has ended. This as critics are calling for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Welcome back as we head into hour 2 of America Reports. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and Bill, great to have you here today.
Great to be with you as well, Sandra. I'm Bill Malugin in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off. That meeting Sandra just mentioned just wrapped up moments ago. Maxwell was escorted back to the prison from the courthouse in Tallahassee. Her attorney said they had a, quote, productive meeting with Blanche, but details of their talks still remain under wraps right now.
All right, Fox Team coverage is at the ready. Chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream is live here in New York City, standing by with analysis. But first, let's get to our justice correspondent, David Spunt. He's got the latest from Washington for us. So, David, what else did Maxwell's attorney say?
Well, he said a lot. We wish we could be in and hear what was said in the actual meeting. This meeting was a lot shorter than it was yesterday, but this was a 2-day event. The highlight, though, it appears that her team wants a pardon. Watch.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
But the president leaving the White House today was asked directly about a pardon or commutation of Maxwell.
Okay, so of course he's not going to talk about it yet because this is just way too big. So I want to show you what the recap of that meeting was. The recap of the meeting was breaking. It's being reported that Gilly Maxwell did not invoke any privileges. And what that means right off the bat is she didn't take the fifth. Well, she's already in jail. She didn't decide that she was going to have a right to remain silent. She just answered every single question. Any question that was posed, she named about 100 people to the Department of Justice. Lots of soiled pants right now. She did not invoke, this is a quote from her attorney, she did not invoke privilege and really pressed on exactly what she's being asked about. Her lawyer said that they've asked about every single possible thing you could imagine, but then revealed that she was asked about maybe 100 different people. She answered the questions about everybody and did not hold anything back. Oh, they wanted it. They kept pushing for it, right? Yeah, Democrats were screaming, what do you got to be afraid of? Now, you didn't think this was going to happen, did you? And no, Ghislaine Maxwell did unalive herself in jail, okay? I hope the cameras are watching. Hope they got the guards out front. I don't want to hear tomorrow, oh, she killed herself. No. Listen to this, because even CNN at this point is like, oh, we got to report on this?
Justice Department planned to do with everything Ghislaine Maxwell told them yesterday and today. Her lawyer says she answered questions about roughly 100 people during her meetings with Deputy Attorney General and former personal attorney to President Trump, Todd Blanche. CNN Chief Legal Affairs Correspondent Paula Reed is with us on this. She is tracking all of the details. Do we know anything else about what they discussed, Paula?
Well, we're learning a little bit, but there's still more questions than answers. We know the two sides met today for about 3 hours. After talking through the day yesterday, once again, her lawyer said she answered every question that she was asked. She did not invoke privilege. And when really pressed on exactly what she's being asked about, her lawyer said that they've asked about every single possible thing you can imagine, but then revealed that she was asked about maybe 100 different people. She answered questions about everybody and did not hold anything back. I think that's sort of the biggest headline we've gotten out of these meetings so far. He was also asked about, where he sees all this going. Let's take a listen to what he said.
We don't know how it's going to play out. We just know that this was the...
All right, so it cut there. So, don't know how it's going to play out is probably an understatement, a complete understatement right now in terms of how things are going. We'll stay tuned. We'll keep you guys abreast of it even through the weekend as more news comes out. I did want to show you this last clip because to me it's just kind of awesome watching the people from Scotland as they're watching President Trump come in.
So it's not looking too bad for the UK, and I think Trump and Starmer will want in their meeting to project a view of a good relationship and quite a lot of positive things happening and quite a lot to look forward to in the future. Now, under the surface, we'll see what happens on Gaza, we'll see what happens on Ukraine. There's a lot of international problems and crises around, and there are still potentially problems in trade, especially if President Trump...
Look how excited she is.
But I think the outlook here will be to try and be as positive as possible.
Okay, all right. Lord Kim Dark, former British ambassador to the United States. Thank you so much for joining us with those.
I can't imagine how much that must tick off the people in the media, that people across the world are cheering and hoping that President Trump is successful. After everything they've tried to do, they couldn't make it happen. All right, so now there's a statement that... When did this get released? This was last night, okay, after his previous interview. Todd Blanche. This was yesterday. Today I met with Ghislaine Maxwell and I will continue my interview of her tomorrow. The Department of Justice will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time. That appropriate time? Yeah. When will that be? Because who knows what's going to be happening at this point, because it's... Can you imagine? Can you imagine if she got a pardon or clemency of something of that nature? We have no idea what's coming. None whatsoever. Boy, they're freaking out. They've got to be freaking out. The Democrats stepped in the poop this time. I believe that. Don't blink, you might see Rosie waving. I'm willing to accept her getting a pardon as much as I hate it to get to the deviant politicians, Hollywood, DC, and Wall Street. Can you imagine? 100 people right now, that's what's been released, right? Means there's 100 people right now who won't sleep tonight. This is truly Norma Desson time. You can't sleep. Because right now, these people all over the world, whoever was involved with this entire thing, they know who they are. We don't. They know who they are. And the fact that she's talking And the statement that they released is she's talking and answered every single question, and she's naming names. None of you would be this deviant, but just imagine, put yourself right now, and you've done something on that island. You've done something to kids, and the one person who knows everything at this point has supposedly, allegedly, named 100 people. And if you're one of those 100 or 1,000, because you don't know which 100 she named. What if there were 500 people, but she only mentioned 100? Right now, there's probably some Russian roulette getting ready to happen. People are like, oh my gosh, is it me? Is it you? Is it me? Is it me? You don't know. Imagine how terrifying that must be. How terrifying it must be to sit there knowing what you've done, but not knowing if you're one of the people she mentioned. I couldn't even imagine living like that. That would freak me out. And I'd probably either look at a short pier or bridge or a plane. But wow. Dershowitz was Epstein's attorney, not a participant. The pardon would be worth every penny. See, the other thing about it, you guys have to think about it this way. If they now have names and they go knock on the door, we need to talk. This is how this entire thing would crumble, because if they truly are rich and elite, celebrity-based people, the question is, hey, you were named. We'd like to know what you're thinking. At that point, I'd be like, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you who else was at the party. I'll tell you what they did. Just don't do this to me. Now it's getting to that point where some of us are thinking, no deals, man. You took advantage of children. No deals. But at the same time, you're like, okay, if that list went from 100 to 200 because Jimmy the Freak can name another 75 or 90 people, do you take that pardon from that one guy to try and get another 90? Because that's going to be the problem. You'll hear that in the press. If a deal was cut with her, then they're probably going to cut a deal with some other people. How many people get the deals? Because the only reason you'd be making a deal is that you've been caught. And so now it's like, yeah, I did. Can I tell you some names? Will that help me? And I just wonder how do you guys feel about that? Because there's got to be some stool pigeons. One of the worst things that rich people don't want is to be in jail. It doesn't matter if you're rich. You can't do anything. You're eating bologna sandwiches. So, and your quality of life, after they find out in prison that you're one of them. They don't. That stuff in television isn't made up. The general population doesn't want you people around. Your quality of life is going to be You're going to get shivved in the shower. But go all the way back now. It's like, okay, so you're Jimmy the Freak, and Jimmy the Freak says I can give you up to 20 more freaks. Do you take the deal, or you just put Jimmy away? I mean, I think most of us are like, no deals, none, no deals. How about this? You give me some names that we can prove, and we'll make sure that you don't get put in Gen Pop. We'll make sure that you get to eat your bologna sandwiches in private. That's about the best deal I can offer you. You messed around with kids. You know, you're never going to see the light of day. Maybe I'll get you the cell like they show in the movie. I'll get you the one cell with a skylight. That's about it. Or we just let you rot. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? You guys want deals? Let's see, a lot more than 100 people. We don't know what 100 people she's talking about exactly. I'm trying to see. If a deal was cut with Maxwell, she will be moved in protective custody very, very soon, probably given a new identity, which may or may not work because CIA, FBI. Yep, I'm sorry, but the deep state. Witness of protection is about to explode. Suicide rate is going to go up. But I'd like to know, what are you guys thinking? Who gets a deal at this point? They need to take a dirt dive. I mean, their lives would be worth nothing. You can't show your face in public. You might as well go to jail for the rest of your life. So I don't know. I mean, even if Ghislaine Maxwell was given a pardon or something of that nature because she gave up a whole bunch of people, what kind of quality of life is she going to have? She's going to have to move to some place, get plastic surgery, and never come out in public again. I don't know. Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. Open door Alligator Alcatraz. You guys can go wherever you want. Don't get too close over there, though, because they're going to be especially mad at you. Wow, I didn't think about this, Frank. This could be a major stock market crash. Wow, if leaders of these companies, these CEOs, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I didn't think about that. Sounds like they need a can and a sock, Barry. This could be crazy. Barry, thank you for not using Fred as an example. Jimmy the Freak, that's the best I'm going to go. You have to feed the small fish to get the bigger fish to fry. Yeah, this is crazy. This is very, very crazy. Juanita says no deals on anybody harming a child. Susan, wow, this could be huge. Many seats in Congress will become available really quick. Maybe this is why some of these people are resigning all of a sudden. You're going to see some stuff probably in the next couple days. Look for some stories at this point. I'll try to compile things, but there's got to be some people freaking out, even if this is a smokescreen. Even if they told her attorney, go out there and say, hey, yeah, we'll cut a deal, just to see what surfaces. Who's putting gas in the jet right now? Who's transferring money overseas? Who's trying to do something? Yeah, gotta go. Bye. But as you know, they're going to watch all the airports. If they've got the list of names, now there actually is a list. Oh, think about that for a second. Now there actually is a list of names. She gave them 100 names. That might have been an appetizer, an hors d'oeuvre. You got 100 names. I got more. What you gonna do for me? Here's 100 for free. I'll give you 100 for free. The rest are gonna cost you. Now what I said earlier makes sense to you, doesn't? You got to give me something to get something. Well, what do you got? Let me see if this stuff pans out. Here's 100. You want more? I'm out of here. You got 100 to go sink your teeth in, get your investigators, start looking, start checking things out. And if those 100 pan out, I'm walking. That may be indeed what you just saw. You may have just seen her give up the appetizer. We're going to need a panel, a special panel, to be the only people who get to decide who gets... yeah, exactly. You got to come in and plead your case while you get a deal and while somebody else is going to be swinging. All right, so that's the only list that matters, is the one she has. I would cut a deal to give names, but I would put on a predator list and ruin them. This is going to get very interesting. Very interesting. Stay tuned, because nobody knows where this is going, and now the media realizes you stepped in it. You didn't see this coming. You were trying to pressure Pam Bondi. You were trying to pressure Dan Bongino and Cash Patel, and yeah, give up the list. You didn't see this coming. That's the problem right now. Nobody put that in their bingo card. Oh, you think Ghislaine Maxwell's gonna give it up and want a pardon? Nobody was talking about that. Go back and look. Nobody. They were talking on Trump not doing it, and on Pam Bondi not doing it. They were hiding it. Now they got a real list. Now you know there's been a confirmed list given. Some people were like, there is no list. Maybe there is one. Nobody knows. Now everybody in the world knows for sure a list has been given. Don't have to worry about the other list or whatever she said the file she had on her desk or didn't have. Doesn't matter. Now they have confirmed we gave people 100 names. So there's 100 names somewhere. The attorney and Ghislaine gave Todd Blanche 100 names. So unless Todd Blanche comes out and says that Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney is a liar, you can now rest assured there is actually a real effing list. And now that there's a real effing list, now it gets good. Now we're going to find out what's going on, what's not going on. Now we're going to see the rats scurry, because they were bluffing. Everybody was bluffing with, a 7 and 8 non-suited. And now Trump just got a pair of aces dealt to him. This is crazy. Crazy. Oh my gosh, there's going to be so many congressional jobs available. I don't know. They took a deposition. Was it recorded? If it's recorded, people are going to be asking for it, but you're not going to see it. Not until it's time. There's no way, there's no amount of pressure, there's no amount of screaming on no. You're talking high level. High level here. This is the kind of stuff people will disappear for. Disappear willingly or non-willingly. Because now Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney has said they gave up 100 names. So watch on X. People are going to be demanding those names like crazy. That ain't going to happen right away. Just don't even get into that conversation. We need to see the 100 names. Shut up. No, you don't. You're not a state's attorney. You're not a U.S. attorney. This is some prosecutorial stuff here. What if she's lying? That's why you're not going to see this list. That your question, Moon, is exactly why you're not going to see this. Because first, all right, you gave me 100 names. I don't know if they're true. So what I'm going to have to do is look into all these people. And as I look into these people and I start talking to them, and hey, Jimmy the Weasel, yeah, you were named on this by Ghislaine Maxwell. Can we come see you? Come Wednesday, okay? Wednesday at 3 o'clock would be a good time. Getting the hell out of town. See, they're not going to let people know until they've got surveillance on them. And we don't know what else she gave them. Remember, they said she answered every question. Hey, when did Jimmy the Weasel come to the island? He came here on September 5th. He paid this much. He did this. Do you have anything to prove it? Yes, I have some proof, but I want a pardon. I've been watching too many television shows, but at this point, she's the last one left that we know of. She may have a dead man switch. Dead man switch meaning if anything happens to me, drop all this information. But as far as we know, she's the last one left. And I'm sure she probably tried to cut a deal before, but they wanted to banish her. I don't even know how the hell she's in Tallahassee. But she's in a Tallahassee jail, and if the Democrats really wanted to do what Trump is doing right now, they could have. Everything needs to be vetted, absolutely. I'm sure she's under guard, lock and key, not the same guards. Yep, she has to have evidence they don't know, or evidence that they don't know where it is. Yeah, if she's playing it correctly, does Maxine know how to fold sheets into knots? Oh, goodness. Here's a big question. Why didn't Maureen Comey go after Maxwell's customers before? That's a very good question. Maybe that's why she was fired. Man, that is why she's still living. Other than a few of the victims, many who took money and signed NDAs cannot cover for criminal action, so they can be broken. Maybe Trump, that's why Trump left the country for 5 days. He knows. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, you're right here. And this is only half the population will even believe any story they give us. Even if it's coming from Ghislaine Maxwell, now yeah, you're right. The press is going to spin it. How do we know if she's lying? She's lying. They're stuck. I didn't realize Trump was going to pull this chess move. They were screaming for weeks. The Democrats, the politicians, Trump release it. Now he's got the real list. Now he's got the knock list. This is going to, I won't say be great, because there's nothing great about what happened to these kids. Nothing. And we've waited too long for some sort of, retribution on this. Makes me ill. All right, so I'm going to get out of here because I got to do a 7 o'clock show. Let me look at a couple things here. The stress these people are going to be suffer. Oh, the hearts that won't be able to take it. They'll start dropping like flies. I don't have a problem with that. You? I'm pretty sure you won't have a problem with that, because imagine what these other kids have had who are now older, who are probably young adult women. Here, remember this? Here, let me see if I can play this for you. Hold on. Remember this. Hold on. Oops, wrong one.
I was very fortunate that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders in London because he knew I was coming to the Old Vic. Do you know who I never asked for anything? Was Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't want to be around this guy because I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa, because there were these young girls. And we were like, who is this guy? So I will say this.
There were young girls on those flights?
There were young girls on those flights, yeah. And that's been out. They've talked about it. But here's my point. There's a big difference between not remembering that I met some guy and some woman on a humanitarian trip where my focus was entirely on what we were there to do, and not remembering whether I went to somebody's island. So I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I did not know him, and I never saw him or her after that morning at Buckingham Palace. He didn't even come to Buckingham Palace.
Is it true that Prince Andrew sought your assistance and wanted you to testify that Gilly Maxwell was your guest, not his, during that Buckingham Palace tour?
I heard a report about that, but at no time did anyone ever contact me on his behalf. And as I say, I'm not friends with him. I never saw him after that day.
What do you think about what's happened to him?
I don't know anything about it. It's not, I'm not going to talk about someone else's scandal,
Russia. So they settled on Carter Page, and in order to get surveillance authority on Page, they had to use the Steele dossier because there was no other credible intelligence.
What if the Steele dossier had a lot more stuff in it than they brought out there? I don't know. I don't know. This stuff is getting really crazy. This stuff is getting really, really crazy. Who knows where it's going to go at this point? And don't jump to conclusions. Whatever you do, don't get in there and start thinking this person's on the list or that person's on the list. One reason why you don't want to defame people you don't know. You don't want to accuse somebody of being on something as hideous, as heinous as that 100 names. I would hate for somebody to try and say I was, or you, or your father, or your brother, because they're going to try and ruin people at this point. They're going to say George Clooney. They're going to say, Whoopi Goldberg. They're going to say, I don't know, Tucker. They're going to say everybody is going to try and place somebody they don't like on these lists. Don't play that game. Stay away from it. You don't need the clicks. It's a shameful that some people are going to feel as though they have the inside. Hey, let me give you some inside info. I got to tell you right now, Bill Nye the Science Guy is on it. How do you know? I have a source. Or how about, Paul Ryan or John Bolton? Or nobody knows. There are no sources. The only source that is absolutely credible at this point would be Gilly Maxwell. And even her, you got to look at her stuff with a side eye. So what you're going to see over the weekend, you're going to find and people are going to be naming names on their own. Stay away from it. Don't retweet it. Don't even consume it. They don't know. This thing is probably bigger, more guarded than the gold, whatever gold is in Fort Knox. Nobody knows this crap. No reporter, nobody. So don't fall victim to that. I mean, I beg you, don't start putting people's name out there that you don't possibly know, because they don't possibly know. And if they knew, they wouldn't be telling anybody on X. If they knew, they wouldn't be saying it, because they would get visited. So just understand, everybody's full of crap. Nobody knows what's on this list, or if this list exists. Or is this another smokescreen? Is this another way of getting people all riled up? I'm not going to play it. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I'll come back tonight and do a show at 7:30 if you want to join me. We'll talk about some more prosperity stuff, because this stuff went long. But I am not going to call people crazy, not going to say names or anything, because it's just not worth it. Keep your integrity about you. You know, guys from Patriot Addict, they think they did themselves well with the knife, but now they've got a new deal. This one's called, let me see if they gave me an actual URL. Nope, I don't have a URL yet. So I can't give you a URL. So the only way, hey, mods, don't go ahead, don't post a link in the chat, because they don't have a URL here. So you're going to have to use the QR code. And so I mentioned to you the red knife. Here's the red knife right there. I mentioned to you the Trump signatory knife. This is the black one with the Trump on a blade. Those are two things. In the past, I've shown you, where is it? Where's my Trump hat? Let me change hats for a second here. This hat. Okay, so that's 3 items. The black knife, the red knife, the hat, and then what we're also going to do and get involved in is we have this, which is the Trump blanket. Nope, I'm sorry. This is the Trump flag. Where is it here? I'm trying to make it so you guys can see it. This is the Trump flag right here. President Trump, make America great again. There it is. Big, it's a big giant flag. Big giant flag. That. And then, where's the blanket here? Let me look at my stack of stuff, as Rush Limbaugh used to say. I got a huge stack of stuff here. And here is the Trump blanket. You get all this stuff. All of it. So you get the flag, you get the blanket, you get the hat, you get both of the knives, all for under $100. All of that stuff, all of it. Normally sells for like $400. You can get everything for under $100. This is only valid for the Fanfare family, all right? So unlike the other offer, which was just $14 for shipping, this one is a whole kit and caboodle. You get everything for like $99. All of it. The hat, both knives, the blankie, and the flag. That's an amazing deal. Normally, all of this stuff together would be about $500, and you get it for just about $99. So go ahead and click on the QR code right there if you'd like to get this stuff, and then yeah, they'll ship it out to you. Wow, that's a good offer. Very good offer. All right, so let me do super chats before I check out of here. Wow, that's a great deal. I might have to get some of those and just give them away. I like that. All right, so let me do this real quick. But please, I beg of you, do not get into the speculation or the posting of names, because it's just not cool. It's not cool to be calling people and say, oh, they're on the list. We have no idea. We have no idea who's on any sort of list. It's not worth it. Please don't do that. All right. George Revere, I want a hat, but I don't want to leave it to chance. Can you do a promo like the Trump knife for the Fanfare merch? All right, so George is talking about this beautiful hat that was sent to me by one of our viewers. I guess they own a embroidery company, the Fanfare hat. Let me put that back on, because that's my hat of choice right here. Again, I don't sell stuff because I don't look to make money off of you guys, unless, of course, you want to buy something from one of the sponsors. But I will talk to them, and if I can't get a hold of Jimmy and Shannon, I'll find somebody who can make these, and we'll do giveaways. You don't have to look to buy it. Jennifer Jaros, hat giveaway fund. Thank you. Tilly, they put a digital billboard up here in Ohio. Welcome New York people fleeing. I don't want their Democrat voting asses here. I completely agree with you. Don't come here escaping the Marxist communist stuff down here and then still come down here with your stupid ideology that you fled from. Robert Petruska, you should endorse popcorn. Maybe corn pop can make an appearance here. Suzanne Pottergill, thank you. Tracy Cowan, Barry, been watching you since last June and I'm addicted. You're the best at breaking things down so it's easier to understand. Thank you very much. Tilly, time for me to go. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Chapo, Dems want the homeless out there because they are a voter harvest group. They use them to harvest votes. Sick. Mama Mima, do we not remember that it was the closing down of all the mental hospitals that created this explosion of homelessness? Got to reopen them. Chapo, Dems also use the homeless for fraud organizations, getting money to help them, but never fix the problem. They also use their Social Security for fraud. Agreed. Del Hole, hire homeless to help homeless. Yeah, I remember there was a guy who had a car wash business, and he was hiring homeless people to, just not to touch the cars, but to pick up the towels and do things like that. And he made the newspapers and everything down here. N1JRM, can you get your giveaway partners to use PayPal? My bank will not let my card go through on your giveaways. Okay, I didn't think about that. I will put that in a note. Mama Mima, my niece told me she prefers the street. Why? What is it about people who don't want the help? I don't get it. I make no responsibility. They run away from life in general. I don't know. Working as an RN in a mental health facility, that act is so very needed. It will save lives. Yeah, it will. Redeem Patriot, leaders of countries. Mama Mima, she is the list. That's a good point. Vishu, Jizzy doesn't have 100 names memorized. There's a list somewhere on a pen drive in a safety deposit box for multiple copies and in multiple places. So that's a good point. She doesn't have 100 names memorized. How did she provide 100 names today? That's a very good point. Very good point. Rick Williams, Barry Maxwell didn't give 100 names up. Todd Blanche asked about 100 names. Night and day difference. Okay, good point. Hey, is Fred on the list? Is Joe on the list? You're right. You're right. That's a big difference. Benedette Salerno just got the berry pack. Love it. Thank you very much. That is a very good, interesting thing. She was asked about 100 names. She didn't give 100 names. Good point. Very good point. I know homeless people, they prefer the streets. Why? Anybody know why they prefer the streets? What is it? How could you want to live on the street? As a woman, how could you want to have to do all kinds of stuff just to get something to eat? I just can't even imagine. Maybe I love my bed too much to think, hey, listen, I'm going to go sleep on this park bench. It's cold, and even down in Florida, it's hot, and there's bugs, and why? I don't get it. Doesn't make any. The street may hold a little more privacy and space. That's crazy. It's what is familiar to them. Yeah, that's very bad. That's very bad. All right, everybody. I'm seeing from you guys. You guys like the hat, so I got to get. I hope one of the mods got a hold of it. When I get off, I'll check my email list and see if Jimmy and Shannon or somebody got a hold of me, because I got to get these hats made. Definitely got to get these hats made. All right, everybody. I'll see you at 7:30 for it'll probably be a short one, but we'll see what we can come up with. Robin gave me permission to go ahead and do a second show, so we're going to do a second show. All right. Talk to you guys in a little while.